And we are just getting now this new tape in from the town of Tyre in Lebanon. Israel says it has launched more than 1,000 attacks against targets inside Lebanon. And the one in Tyre actually reportedly killed more than 9 civilians, wounded 42. We're also hearing from another town that a family of 5 Lebanese Canadians, a single family, were killed on Sunday. Well, now the Canadian government is saying that actually 8 Canadian civilians were killed. We're not sure if all 8 now are part of this single family, but we know that the 5 reportedly had come from Canada to spend the summer holidays in this town in Lebanon, and they were killed. 2 other people were killed, 3 wounded in this airstrike. We're seeing an awful lot of civilians hit. Let's go now to this new tape we just got in from the town of Tyre and a woman that we saw screaming on this tape. Let's go to this.
This is made of America. This is made of America. This is what Bush is doing. This is what Bush is doing. This is made of America. But people are dying, but they're still here. They're gonna stay here. Yes, I am. They're never gonna leave. They will die here. This is made of Bush.
And there you saw, obviously, a woman who is blaming President Bush and U.S. policy in part for what she's seeing happening in her city. This, again, in the town of Tyre in Lebanon. Israeli warplanes there fired missiles at the Lebanese Civil Defense Building in Tyre. And again, it killed 9 civilians at least, wounded 42. It tore off the top 3 floors of a 12-story building, and that building happens to be right next to a hospital. And again, some of the video that we're seeing here, people on stretchers. We saw an old woman with blood running down her face, as well as someone carrying a young child out of this, an attack there. Let's go to Raghida Dergham, who is a senior diplomatic correspondent for Al Hayat newspaper and an MSNBC analyst. Raghida, you know, this is a situation where, on the one hand, you talk about the politics, the big picture, about Hezbollah being a terrorist organization, and on the other hand, you're seeing little kids being pulled out of the wreckage, bloodied. It's got to be hard for people who live in the region to sort this out.
Very much so, and the Lebanese in particular, whichever side they take, they are very hurt, they're very saddened by the situation. The voice of the woman you heard a bit earlier is a voice that Hezbollah would like to hear multiplied throughout the Arab world, so that blame is sanctioned with the United States and Israel squarely. In Lebanon, you would have another point of view as well. It is not the voice representative of all the Lebanese people, because some of the Lebanese are saying, yes, of course, the Israelis are being rather brutal in their attack on the Lebanese infrastructure, in killing the civilians. But on the other hand, they're saying, you know, we were all right. We didn't need that to happen. And Hezbollah somehow hijacked the country into this sort of situation. They do not excuse the Israeli atrocities from their point of view, as they are really costing the country dearly. But there are divided voices there, and I think this is what Hezbollah earlier on, Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, was trying to do when he spoke to the Arab nation, if you will, when he said basically let these governments who criticized Hezbollah be toppled in effect, and let's point the finger at the United States of America.
Yeah, Hezbollah's leader Nasrallah, you're right, on that news conference. He also said, and he was, in words at least, painting the picture of what we're seeing now. He's saying, hey, Israel's been targeting civilians, so you know what? So are we. In fact, Haifa's just a start. 8 people killed in Haifa, it's just the beginning. Do you think that there's any way possible, even though the international community is stepping up, the leaders of the G8 are saying, let's figure out a way to ceasefire here. Do you think that's going to happen anytime soon?
I do not expect a ceasefire shortly. I think this is going to have to play out a little more, unfortunately, at the expense of Lebanon squarely. But I think at one point, the United States, this administration certainly is right in giving right now the opportunity for the United Nations to try to do something on the immediate level with this crisis in Lebanon, to defuse the crisis, to see how they can support the Lebanese government, retain or get back its authority, at least to the extent possible, maybe eventually be able to be the sole power in the country rather than the militias competing with the army. But I think it is essential that we do not lose the track of the larger picture, Contessa. I think we need to understand how essential it is to deal with the Palestinian-Israeli issue. Otherwise, the extremists will win the day.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just quick fix it. I think it's important now to take a deeper look into what's needed so that the moderates don't lose the chance once again.
Raghida, thank you for joining us and adding your perspective to the conversation. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Contessa. Thank you.
Contessa, in addition to the new video we're getting from Lebanon, we're also getting new information on two fronts. The Lebanese Prime Minister's meeting with the UN, as well as more information on the Americans who are being evacuated from the country. We'll be right back with more on that.